is.
Good afternoon. This is Monica Kunzeka from South TV. I am excited as usual to bring George Brown to talk about your requirement for success. This week it is week 5. So those of you who have been doing your homework uh, and following what he has been telling us, teaching us, and coaching us, hey, bring out your pen and paper and let's go. George, over to you.
Well, good afternoon, Monica. I am excited to be here, and I am going to share PowerPoint. But before I do that, I just want to share and flip to my Facebook page because there's something I want to make sure that the people are aware. So I'm going to share screen. There we go. So hopefully you can see my Facebook page, Your ReWirement for Success. I hope you can. I have it in the visitors view mode. And then you can notice that I pinned this webinar that my wife and I did, Susan and I did, before the COVID era for sure. It was called the R Factor. R factor being the R in the formula E plus R equals O. And I just thought you might want to check it out on the Facebook page, Your ReWirement for Success. It's kind of interesting because Susan and I tag teamed it together, sitting beside each other, on the stool in front of the two stools actually in front of the computer. And it kind of reviews everything. So it's kind of like an overall review with more information, more examples of E plus R. So I've pinned it right to the top of the web of the Facebook page. So you should have no trouble finding it, and I hope you enjoy it. So I am going to.
I have also added it into the comments, so people can also find it there.
I'm going to stop sharing so I can start sharing again and go over to the Facebook or to the PowerPoint. And let's just start this. So I guess talked about the Facebook page, Your ReWirement for Success. And I spent some time today editing and deleting some links from past posts that we had done through a company called Synduit. So they should all be gone now. All the links that are there should work just fine. And remember, you can email me at yourrewirementforsuccess@gmail.com if you want a copy of the workbook. The workbook is free. It is very helpful, because it contains all the exercises that you need to do. So today, we are going to quickly review what we've done so far. So we talked about 100% responsibility, and not that people aren't being responsible for their life, but using the formula E plus R equals O. And that formula stands for any event in your life, and life is full of events, as we would all admit to. You should not react to the event. If you want to get an outcome, a specific outcome, if you have a specific outcome in mind, or maybe your outcome is a goal, you need to respond in a way to get that outcome. So that's where you need to step up the responsibility, be more cognitive, more aware of your situation, and say, wait a minute, what outcome do I want when I have this event in front of me? So that was our first week. Then we went to, what do you want? I asked you to do exercise with a good friend or your spouse, and have them just ask you 20 times, 30 times in a row, what do you want? And each time that you answer, they write it down for you. And then they say, what do you want? And it works better if you have a friend asking you to do this, because there's no, you're thinking, you're talking, they're writing, there's no pause in between. And sometimes it takes 20 times or more before you start getting down to what's buried deep inside your subconscious as to what do you actually want in life. And it's very important exercise, and I hope you have done it. Now, to get what you want, you really need to have good self-esteem. I hope you have good self-esteem. And I often say to people, do you have good self-esteem? So if you want to improve that, you need to build your stack of poker chips in front of you, because when anytime you're going to take a risk, it's easier to take risks if you have a stack of poker chips in front of you, knowing that you have a cushion of all these things that you've done, all your successes that you achieved. Very important. And finally, we talked about the power of goal setting, and that, take what from your what do you want list and actually make some goals to achieve what you want. And I hope that logically makes sense to you. Make sure that your goal includes how much and by when. So what is it you actually want, and when are you going to get it? Be specific. I want that red F-150 pickup truck with the leather seats and the liner in the back, and go get a picture of you sitting in that truck or that car, whatever it is. So those are the 4 things we covered in the various exercises for each of those weeks. So today, we're going to release the brakes. Wrote our goals. Now we need to release the brakes. How do we do that? Well, we use something that we call affirmations. So we take the goal and we actually need to state it in a way, make it very personal. Start with the words I am, or if it's a group goal, we are, but I am, and present tense. You say as if I am driving that my red Ford F-150 down the street in December 2021. You need to make it as if you already have achieved the goal. It creates action in your brain to make it happen, in your subconscious to make it happen, by actually visualizing that you actually are, you have already achieved the goal. And you'd be surprised how that motivates you to actually achieve that goal. You need to describe it in positive terms only. Be as brief as you can, but be very specific, and include an action word ending in ing, like driving, that you're actually doing it in the present tense. You can use other words like enjoying, adoring, and you can use thrilled or excited, exhilarated, peaceful, or feeling great. All kind of passion words that you want to put this passion into your mind, into your subconscious, so your subconscious will work on it, and you actually start feeling the feelings you have when you have achieved the goal. You should at least have one dynamic feeling word, as I said: excited, feeling great, thrilled. And note that an affirmation is used to change, rewire yourself, not someone else. You don't use affirmations on other people. That's not what they're for. So you should have in your workbook an exercise for doing this, and then more information on this. But there's also 2 types of affirmations. There are action affirmations. I'm feeling great with everything I do. I'm happily loving myself just the way I am. I have all the strength and energy to do what I want. Those are action affirmations. But goal affirmations are slightly different. I am proudly accepting my diploma from university. I am proudly accepting my first triathlon medal. Well, that's not going to happen for me. That's not a goal that I've set. But I did share with you earlier that I'm feeling alive at 185. Well, you know what? I'm not feeling alive at 185 because now I weigh 181. So I needed to set a new goal. So I had changed it to I'm feeling alive at 175. So that's my new goal. My new affirmation for my new goal, which is to weigh 175 by July the 1st of 2021. So affirmations, you need to use positive words in affirmations. It have to be positive. Remember, if you concentrate on the negative in your life, it's going to grow. So you want to concentrate on the positive in your life, and you're going to use affirmations to, make your positive focus more positive for you. So here's an example of one. I am so happy and grateful that I am now enjoying a net personal income of $100,000 a year. Or I'm so happy and grateful that I am now driving my new F-150 when I go out. Just a couple of examples. There are more in the workbook. Read through them, but keep it positive, keep it upbeat, keep it happy. Keep it simple enough that you could have them in your head, or you can actually write them on cue cards and have them in your pocket, have them in your wallet. So, if you're riding on the bus or you're riding somewhere in the car and somebody else is driving, you can be reading them, because you want to repeat, and repeat these affirmations until, you rewire your thinking in your brain. You actually start feeling like you're driving that new truck, or you're making that $100,000 a year of personal income. And this is important for when you want to rewire. One of the things that we're going to talk about this week is turnaround statements. You want to sometimes create an affirmation to counteract maybe a negative thought or negative belief, negative self-talk that you have with yourself. Or maybe someone has said something to you that you kind of felt maybe they were right. You want to change that. They've said that a limitation that you've internalized. Well, we want to fix that. We want to get rid of that. So it's another ways for you to use an affirmation, a turnaround affirmation. So if you discover a limited belief inside yourself, when you catch yourself doing a negative self-talk, or you hear someone make a remark about you and you start to internalize it, you start to ingest it and feel that it's true. Well, let's change that. We'll use an affirmation to do that. For example, if I eat this cake, it will go straight to my hips. Obviously, that's a negative statement. So I want to turn that around. I want to turn it around to, no matter what I eat, I am looking and feeling great at 168. I guess I have to say 175, right? So no matter what I eat, I am looking and feeling great at 175. So by saying these things and repeating them day after day, and I encourage you to do this day after day, you create an energy inside yourself, inside your brain, to make it happen. So maybe you eat this cake, but then you go do that exercise routine that you promised yourself you would do. And you start feeling great at 168. So what do we need? What do you need to ask for? Now, a lot of times people have trouble asking for, what they need at home, at school, or work. What stops us from asking? We did an exercise. I did this at work one time where I gave the engineers working for me a puzzle, and they needed to solve it. And sometimes people could solve it right away, but sometimes there's people that just can't. Maybe the pressure of the situation, or they don't want to look like they were incompetent or whatever. They can't solve it. And as they were doing the puzzle, I would walk around and say, all you need to do is ask for help, and you can get help to help you solve the puzzle. And what would happen is somebody that had solved the puzzle would go over, and when you made the right move, they would clap their hands. If you made a move and it wasn't the right move, they wouldn't do anything. So you could soon figure out, if you made a move, you could, I don't know how many pieces there were in the puzzle, but you try a few pieces, you start finding one, and usually after 2 or 3, you start to see the pattern, and you could solve the puzzle. And all you had to do was ask. But there were, people that they won't ask. So why don't they ask? Why don't you ask for help? Well, a lot of times it's fear that stop people from asking. What is the cost of you not asking? Well, by not asking, you don't solve the puzzle, or get to the result that you want, and so you don't get that success feeling just because you were afraid to ask. Well, I have to do this myself. Well, one thing true in life, you don't need to. You don't have to do life on your own. You can ask for help, and you will be surprised how many times people will give it. So the cost of not asking, well, you're not going to be successful. And this whole 6-week program is about being successful. So don't be afraid to ask. I am not afraid to ask anybody anything. Even as an engineer, chief engineer, sometimes you don't have the information, you don't know. I would walk into a plant, and I would be, took a job with chief engineer of that plant, but I never operated the plant, or I never worked in the plant. And I would go up to the senior operator there and I said, tell me about this situation, and get them to recall previous times that this had happened so that I could make a decision on what we're going to do. Involve them and thank them for their help. So really, you need to think about asking for help when you need it. There's no shame. Life is hard enough not asking for help. But what is the benefit you get when you ask? Wow. I mean, you get to be successful. So, you have your 7 categories: financial, career, fun time and recreation, health, relationships, personal projects, hobbies, or contribution to the community. So maybe you need to ask for help. Maybe you need to ask for a raise. Maybe you need to ask for a loan. Maybe you need seed money for a project that you have. Maybe you want somebody to evaluate one of your speeches. Maybe you need a referral. Maybe you need an endorsement for your product. Maybe somebody bought your product and asked for endorsement. And I would say to you right now, if you're enjoying this training, this 6-week program, I'm asking you right now, give me an endorsement. Tell me how much you like it. Post it on my Facebook page. Say, hey, really, really enjoyed that training. Or you could share the link with your friends. That's an endorsement. Maybe you need time off to go for training. Maybe you need someone to babysit your children. What could you do if somebody babysitted your children? Maybe you need to go get a massage. Maybe you need a hug. Maybe you need to ask somebody for a hug. Well, right now, probably not the best thing to go out in public and ask for some of your help, but I need a hug. I ask my wife for a hug. Or I ask my dog, Billy. He likes to give hugs. Or maybe you need help with a project. I was listening to the news yesterday, and I see where this woman, it was in Ontario, she wanted to create an outdoor rink. She posted a Facebook page. She asked the community for help. And this winter, they're skating on the rink in a public park area. So, you know, it's surprising what you can do when you ask for help with that project. So one of the things that I recommend that you do is use this sheet in some way. I call it the power of 5. I actually have my phone ask me 5 questions every day. What are you going to do today? 5 times. And then it records it so that I can store it in my to-do list, and then I can check it off each time I got them done. But you can do it on paper. You could, you know, print these off. There's a copy of this in your in the workbook if you sent for it. There's a copy in the workbook. But whatever it is, I recommend that you really consider planning 5 things that you're going to do every day. Now, it doesn't have to be, you know, the biggest number 1 goal that you have. What are the 5 things you're going to do? Well, I'm going to do my exercise routine because I want to, you know, achieve my I'm feeling alive at 175. I also want to walk the dog at least an hour of every day. So I want to put that on my list. Those are 2 things that I must do every day that I've declared in my affirmations that I'm going to do. And you need to look at your goals that you set and chunk them down into action steps. Like, you know, what do you need to do? Well, I need to get a loan. Well, before I go ask for a loan, I need to prepare my financial statement and prepare my plan or why, you know, I want that loan. Because the truth is, a lot of times, the only people that the bank will lend money to are people that don't need it. If you know what I'm trying to say, they already have enough assets that the bank can't refuse them. So you need to make it a plan as to how you're going to get that loan. But you need to chunk it down into steps. So there's got to be 5 things you can do. Or maybe I'm going to clean my closet today. I'm going to spend an hour, just an hour, looking through my closet. I found some work pants in there that size 38 that I absolutely never going to wear again. I'm size 36 pants now, and I don't work anymore. I'm technically retired. So I need to get rid of them. So every once in a while, you need to take a sift through your closet, because you know what? If you don't make room in your closet, you shouldn't be buying any more clothes. That's a good hint, right? Or maybe you got too many pairs of shoes. Time for a new pair of shoes? Time to remove an old pair. So, you know, the power of 5 is you take a look at your goals quickly. This shouldn't take a lot of time. What am I going to do? Well, one of my things on my list today that I'm checking off was I going to do a webinar with Monica today. So that's one of my power 5 already checked off. And I said I was going to review our Facebook page, and I did that. So I get to check that off. So it really feels good when you go down your list and you check each one of these off that you did what you said you were going to do. Maybe you're just going to prepare for one of your goals. Maybe you need to do some research. Well, the power of 5, you write it down, and writing it down just seems to help break the ice and get you started. Releases the brakes. That's the word I was looking for. Where people get down is they never take action, and the power of 5 is where you take action. People get bogged down by being so busy getting ready. Well, the universe only awards people that take action. Getting ready, you know, So I'm sure that you can figure out, 5 to-dos every day, a great way to take action, the power of 5. So if we take a quick look at the workbook, there is a good guidelines for what affirmations should sound like. And there is a whole list of affirmations on page 20. I am joyfully speaking up at meetings. I feel great with everything I do. I am easily carrying out all my responsibilities. For goal affirmations, I am happily operating my own trucking business carrying fruits and vegetables to Sacramento. I have one that I just wrote. Last summer, I call him a grandson, but technically we're not related by blood, but he's my grandson. And he pointed out that there was a Ride for Cancer. Happens in August every year, and it's all across Canada. And I said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So I joined up and I rode for cancer last August. I rode over 700 kilometers and collected $750 for kids with cancer. So I've decided this year I am going to ride again. I've decided already. I'm declaring it out there that I'm doing this, and I'm riding for the month of August. I will ride another 750 kilometers, and I have made a goal. I'm trying to get donations for $2,500 for kids with cancer. And I said to anybody that if you have recyclables that you don't want to take to the recycle depot, I have a pickup truck, and I challenge you to fill my pickup truck 25 times. If we can fill my pickup truck 25 times from now until the end of August, I will. It's usually about $100 if I completely fill my pickup truck with recyclables. So that is one of my goal affirmations, that I am going to fill my pickup truck 25 times. Or sorry, people are going to help me to do that. So here I am asking for help. So anybody that's got recyclables that would rather have somebody else take them to the recyclable depot for them, I would love to have them, and I'm even willing to pick them up if you're within driving distance of my house in Cranston. So what else do we have in the workbook? There's a lot of positive action words there. There's a whole page of them that you can use. You've got words that end in ly, like lively and gay, joyous, tingly, stunning, sensual. So certainly there's all kinds of words to help you write those affirmations. Make sure you take a look at exercise 5.5, looking at the 7 different areas of your life that you need to achieve goals are. Where do you need to ask for help? Where do you need to ask for help financially? Where do you need to ask for help business career? Do you need to ask for a raise from your boss? Well, you need to make an affirmation for that, and you need to consider asking for help. What about fun and recreation? Well, every year we used to book a trip to Mexico. We would all tell our kids, "Hey, we're booking a trip to Mexico. Should we get a 1-bedroom? My wife and I, a 2-bedroom. Is there another family who wants to go, a 3-bedroom? Are we bringing the grandkids? Ask for help. Is there any, learning projects you need to do? So page 23, what do I need to ask for to get my goals? Power of 5. I can't state enough how important this could be. One of the things that people say, well, I need to save some money. Well, you can have more than one bank account. You can have your checking account, you can have a savings account, you can have more than one savings account, and you could actually label those accounts. Well, a new appliance, for example, and maybe you only put $5 paycheck into that account, but that account is for new appliances. If I have to repair or replace an appliance, you can put it in there. Well, you put it on the Power of Five. I need to open that bank account, and I need to start automatically depositing money in it. You need to, how much money do you need? How soon do you want this new appliance? You need to figure that out. So how much, savings can you put in there? So on and so forth. So you need to use the Power of Five sometimes to make these things happen. So briefly, affirmations are how you get your brain kicked in, how you start rewiring your thinking, how you get rewiring in a positive way. You need to write these down. You need to put them somewhere where you can see them, where you can review them. Like if you have a spare moment, hey, maybe stick them on the microwave. And as you're preparing yourself lunch, you're preparing yourself supper or whatever, you can, read one off and do a little bit of more prep work and read one off. The more you review these, repetition, what is it, 30 days continuous, you have changed the way your brain functions. So I can't stress enough. But if you don't write these, they don't happen. They don't write themselves, right? You need to know what you want. You need to set goals. Then you need to write affirmations to achieve those goals. So these are work things for you to do. And I hope that you will take the time to get started. Even if you just pick one, whether it's your health, your financial situation, whatever, you need to start. You need to take action because the universe only rewards people that take action. And sometimes, I heard this years ago, and sometimes it's appropriate, but we all used to say ready, aim, fire. Well, sometimes it's ready, fire, aim. Sometimes you need to fire in the direction you're going. You find out it doesn't work. You can take aim and fire in another direction. So maybe change it from ready, aim, fire to ready, fire, aim. Start writing a Power of Five. If it's not working for you, take different steps. That concludes today, Releasing the Brakes. We're back to my ReWirement for Success page. Remember, you can go to your ReWirement. You can email me at yourrewirementforsuccess@gmail.com, and you can check out our Facebook page. Remember to take a look at the R Factor webinar. I've posted it to the top of the Facebook page. You might enjoy it, especially my wife and I playing off against each other in the webinar. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and let's see if anybody maybe has a question for me. I don't know. There's Monica. Hey, Monica. That was Releasing the Brakes. It's not something that you were taught in school.
Yes.
Use affirmations. Where does it come from? You can take a look at books like, I'm trying to think of his name. Oh, Napoleon Hill, I think, is the author. What's the book he wrote?
Are you talking about Think and Grow Rich?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Mm.
Absolutely, for sure. And but he talks about the law of attraction.
Yeah.
And the way you get it is you dream about what you want, you visualize it, you figure out what it is you want, you set goals, you declare affirmations. And the real key is your affirmations as if you already have it.
Have it. Yeah.
Yeah, not as if you're going to get it, as if you already have it. I'm living in a house. Where do you want to live? Monica, where do you want to live? Calgary?
Where do I want to live? Somewhere nice and sunny. I've got it on my vision board. I have got the house, I've got the car, I've got everything. And so that's what I'm working on. And right now I'm taking action steps slowly to achieve my goals, small goals, heading towards the bigger one, and also doing the affirmations as well.
Yeah, I have my affirmations on the mirror in the bathroom. I have my vision board in the bedroom. When I wake up in the morning, I can just tilt my head and I can see the vision board there in front of me, and I can look at all my pictures. And remember to bring your emotions into it. When you look at that car, think about how you felt when you went and sat in it. You're hanging on to the steering wheel. How did you feel? Like
Yes.
you need to bring up the emotions, because emotions are very powerful in your brain. Emotions are what create memories. If you think back, I don't remember a lot of things in my life, but you think, why do I remember that? Why do I remember that one thing? Well, it was a very emotional time.
Yes.
Something happened. I'm trying to think of an example, but there's so many times you don't remember. Like I don't remember, I remember when I didn't get picked to sing the boys solo in grade 7. And I remember how I felt about it, because it was a song about a tiger. And I still remember some of those words. Prowling round the forest when the night is dark and wild. The tiger lurks, he hunts alone. He's nearer than you think. So I still remember the song, some of it. But I didn't get picked to sing the song. Well, grade 8, I got picked, and I actually won, and I won a trophy. But the song was not as much, as important to me. It wasn't as much of a boys' song. I still remember some of the words, but I was like, oh, okay. But what happened was I didn't know I was going to win the trophy. And when they called me up to receive my certificate, and I was handed the trophy, I was just beaming. And the church was a huge church in Stratford, Ontario. I think it seated 3,000 people.
Wow.
It's just huge. It had like more than one level. And that's when I learned about the power of vocal variety, because I sang from here.
Yes,
and from all my muscles, and I let it out, and everybody heard me sing that song. I mean, I didn't sing it the way I sung it when I won the award. Whether I would have got more points, I don't know, but I don't care. I was so overjoyed that it just bellowed out of me, right? In a good way, but still, I will never forget that feeling. So, you want to connect your passion onto your vision board and your passion into your affirmations. It's all about igniting in a positive way your passion. Then you will start releasing the brakes. Next week, we're going to talk about taking action, because action is the only way that you achieve what you need to achieve. I did find another book in my library today that I certainly can send you what do they call it? The IBN number. You know what I'm talking about? I'll just hold it up here. It's another one of Jack Canfield's books, but it's the Success Principles Workbook. And in it, there's exercises for, what we're talking about. Ask without fear of rejection is one of the titles I just saw. Give up the words I can't. One of the things we didn't talk about, but if you ever use the word I can't, it's the most negative word that you can say to yourself.
So George, you can take a picture. You can take a picture of the book.
Yep.
And then we can post it in the discussion. So that
okay, I will take a picture and send it to you, and you can post it. But I'm telling you that, like the Success Principles book, this is the workbook, and inside it, there's a bunch of exercises that I recommend. I mean, actually, I've been thinking about doing a webinar on it, chapter by chapter.
That's fantastic.
I haven't got around to it, but maybe it's something we can discuss.
Yeah, that's something we can certainly discuss, because the book, The Success Principles, written by Jack Canfield, as you are reading it, your outlook on life, your attitude changes, and you become more and more positive. So certainly, I would love participating and doing and working on that. I'll make sure that I grab my own workbook.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later, but it's certainly something that he recommends. And there's another book that I actually gave this to that grandson I talked about, and it's the Success Principles for Teens. And I'll take a picture of both those. If you have teenagers,
I think
it can be a challenge.
At the moment, parents need help. They do.
Need help. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's talks about the Success Principles, but as a teenager,
right.
In words that hopefully they can understand. I mean, I have read through it, but I'm just going to post them. I don't get anything for this. These books I just happen to own, but I just think, people are looking for help out there, and these books are out there. So I'll take pictures and I'll send them to you. I'm just recharging my phone here, so we can do it later. Is there anybody posted any questions?
I'm only seeing people who are excited that they made it to this training session. And these are people I know have requested for workbooks and stuff. So it might be a good idea to check later on to see if someone has watched later, and then we can respond to the questions in the discussion. It's
Okay.
a pleasure having this discussion, this training. I love it. Thank you so much, George, for taking time to teach us. We absolutely need anything and everything that is going to continuously awaken us up.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. I mean, I call it ReWirement for success, but most of it, some of these things you're going to say, I already knew that, but where was it? Was it up here or was it back here? Because a lot of times we know so much, there's so much our brain can hold, but it gets pushed to the back, and you go, oh, I haven't done that. And even myself, one of the great things about doing a webinar is you're reminding yourself, oh, I got to do that. I stopped doing that. I got to start doing that again. And it's true. No matter who you are, you get caught up in day-to-day living sometimes. So, it's a ongoing process, but it's doable. That's the thing.
It is certainly.
I don't know if you can see that picture behind me. I'm going to bring it over. Just hold on. It's a book's end, and I've got a picture in there, and it's Lucas, my grandson, my oldest grandson. Actually, he's 15 now, but what he's hanging on to, I don't know if you ever watched the movie Cars. That it was for children, but there is a tow truck in it called Tow Mater, and we were at Disneyland, and they had a parade with cars, with the characters from the movie, and this was the one, and there was so many people that Lucas, all he could do was hang on to the hook at the back. But he's so happy. I don't know if you can see.
You can see, yes.
He's absolutely so happy. And I don't have, supporting books, but I have it, where I can see it. It's one of my, what do you call it? Poker chips. I can see it every day. So
yes, and it cheers you up.
Yeah, that kid, he's just the love of my life. Well, both my grandkids are, but he's just great. So,
yes.
Okay.
Looking forward to seeing you next week. Looking forward to seeing everybody next week. We will be doing week 6. Yeah. And oh my, does time fly? But yes, I'm enjoying every step of it. Thank you, George, and thank you, Kamlak, thank you, Nora, and thanks to everyone who has tuned in for this session, Your Rewirement for Success. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.